I used to think night shifts were peaceful. That illusion didn't last long. The office building sat at the edge of the business district, 5 floors of glass and steel, surrounded by empty streets that looked like they had been abandoned years ago. During the day, it buzzed with people. At night, it felt like a museum of ghosts. I worked security, not the heroic kind, no weapons, no dramatic rescues, just cameras, a desk, and hourly rounds. The cameras were my comfort. 32 screens glowing softly in the control room. Every corridor, stairwell, and lobby in view. Nothing moved without me knowing. At least, that's what I believed. It started on a Wednesday. At 2:13 a.m., I noticed something odd on the camera 14. The fourth floor hallway, one of the office door was open. That shouldn't happen. Cleaning staff left by midnight, and every room was supposed to be locked. I rewound the footage. Nothing. The door had been closed, and then suddenly it wasn't. No one opened it. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. Then I told myself it was a glitch. Cameras lag, files corrupt. Still, I grabbed my flashlight and went up. The fourth floor always felt colder. Not physically, just quieter, like the building held its breath there. The open office was at the far end. As I approached, I noticed something else. The lights inside were on. I was sure they had been off earlier. Hello, I called out. No response. I stepped inside. The office was empty. Chairs tucked in, computers asleep, everything normal. Except for one thing. A coffee mug sat on the desk, still steaming. I froze. Someone had been here seconds ago. I checked every corner, every cabinet. Nothing. No windows open, no signs of entry. I went back downstairs faster than I do like to admit. When I checked camera 14 again, the door was closed. The next night, I watched that camera more closely than the others. At 4:17 a.m., it happened again. The door opened, not slowly, not gradually, just open. This time, I didn't go upstairs right away. I kept watching. Minutes passed, nothing. Then at 1:53 a.m., something moved inside the room. Not a person, a shadow. It stretched across the wall like it didn't belong to anything. Too tall, too thin, it bent at angles that didn't make sense. I felt my chest tighten. Okay, I murdered. Not real, not real. Then, at 1:53 a.m., something moved inside the room. Not a person, a shadow. It stretched across the wall like it didn't belong to anything. Too tall, too thin. It bent at angles that didn't make sense. I felt my chest tighten. Okay, I murdered. Not real, not real. Then the shadow stopped and turned toward the camera. I swear it did. The next frame went static. I didn't go upstairs that night. I stayed in the control room until sunrise. Every screen feeling like it was watching me instead. I told my supervisor the next day. He laughed it off. Old wiring, faulty cameras. You are overthinking it. So I stopped mentioning it. But I didn't stop noticing. The doors would open and close across different floors. Light flickered on in empty rooms, and always the cameras would miss the moment it happened. Like whatever it was, knew exactly where not to be seen. On my sixth night, I broke. At 3:02 a.m., every camera flickered at once, just for a second. When they came back, something had changed. Every single hallway, camera showed the same thing. A figure standing still, facing directly into the lens. 32 screens, 32 identical figures. I couldn't breathe. They weren't detailed, just silhouette, just silhouettes. But I knew somehow they were looking at me. Then one by one, they started to move. Not walking, sliding, closer to the cameras, closer to me. I knocked my chair over, scrambling backward. I whispered, "This isn't real." Then the control room door creaked open behind me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. A voice, low, almost curious, spoke. "You see us now." I ran. I didn't grab my things, didn't lock the building, just ran out into the street and didn't stop until I reached my. I quit the next morning. A week later, I went back. I don't know why. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I wanted to prove myself I hadn't lost my mind. The building was still there, but it was empty, closed down, condemned. I noticed on the door said structural issues had forced immediate evacuation. I found a worker nearby and asked what happened. He looked at me strangely. This place, he said, been empty for months. That's not possible. I replied. I worked here last week. He shook his head. No one's worked here in a long time. I didn't argue. I just left. Sometimes late at night, I still see them, not on the screens, in reflections, standing behind me, watching, waiting for me to look directly at them again. Night shifts at station were simple: lock up, clean, and wait for the last train to pass. It came through at 2:40 a.m. every night, never stopping. Just a slow, grinding roll through the platform before disappearing into the tunnel. No passengers, no conductor, just empty cars. At least that's what I was told. My first week, I didn't question it. By my second, I started noticing things. The train was always late, not by minutes, by seconds. Exactly the same number each night. 7 seconds, and every time it arrived, the lights flickered. One night, I decided to get a closer look. When the train pulled in, I stepped onto the platform instead of watching from the booth. The doors didn't open, but the windows, they weren't empty. At first, I thought it was reflections. Then I leaned closer. Inside each car, people sat perfectly still, too still, their heads tilted slowly downward, like mannequins, waiting to be posed. None of them moved, except one. Near the back, a man slowly lifted his head and looked straight at me. I stumbled back as the train screeched and moved again. The next day, I told my supervisor. He went pale. Don't go near that train, he said. Why? He hesitated. Because it is not part of our line. After that, I stayed in the booth, but I kept watching. Every night, the same passengers, same stillness, and always that one man. Each night, he moved a little more. First his head, then his shoulders. Then one night, he stood up. I didn't sleep that day. When I returned for my shift, I tried to ignore the clock. 2:40 came anyway. The train arrived. This time, the man was already standing, right at the door, facing me. The lights flickered violently, and then the doors opened. They had never opened before. A cold wind rushed out of the train, and the man stepped onto the platform. No sound, no footsteps, just there, up close. He looked wrong. His face stretched slightly, like it didn't fit his skull. His eyes were too dark. You're not supposed to watch, he said. My legs wouldn't move. I didn't. You noticed, he interrupted. That means you are next. The train doors slammed shut behind him, and it left, without him. I quit the next day, refused to go back. But it didn't matter, because the train didn't stay at the station anymore. It started showing up elsewhere, near my apartment, at intersections, in reflections of dark windows, always passing, always slow, and always he is inside again, standing by the door, waiting for it to open.